Mirik Hinudua Netur Geb. This video speaks about Netur Geb, the earth, the solid earth, and why he has a goose as his sacred animal. First, we will talk about the earth and how it's different from other neturs. First of all, like Netur Geb, his sister, his queen is Netur Nut. Netur Nut is space. She is the dark infinite space. The thing about space is that space is constantly expanding. If you look into science, scientists today have discovered that space is constantly expanding. And then that's his sister space, the sky. Netur Nut is the infinite dark space. And the word nut and the word night. The word night comes from nut, which is talk about night, the dark space, the nighttime when you see the infinite darkness, which is constantly expanding. And Netur Geb is different because he's constantly compacting. He's constantly the solid matter that is constantly pressing together and staying tight together and compacting together, which is the earth. When you look at the earth, we see, for one, our body is being pressed on the earth, and we see rocks fall fast quickly to compact and get back connected with the earth. And we see it's not constantly expanding. We don't see like rocks just coming off the planet and floating off into outer space or anything. Rocks and the solid matter is constantly compacting and staying together and pretty much trying to stay united or whatnot and sticking together and compacting together. And that's the difference between the earth and the solid and the infinite space or whatnot. The solid matter is constantly compacting, and the space is constantly expanding. So that's the basic about Netur Geb is that he is constantly compacting. Now that we have looked at Netur Geb and see that he is constantly compacting, and we see that we also notice we see that the earth and solid matter is constantly compacting. We also notice that he has the goose as his sacred animal on his head. They show the goose. Our ancestors put a goose on his head to show as his sacred animal. We're going to look into the goose and see how the goose behaves and see how is that similar to Netur Geb.
Lessons of the geese. In the fall, when you see geese heading south for the winter, flying in the V formation, pause a moment and appreciate the beauty of the flight. As each bird flaps its wings, it creates uplift for the bird behind it. By flying in a V formation, the whole flock adds at least 71% greater flying range than if each bird flew on its own.
We see here the geese compacting. They are uniting together. They're coming together as one, pretty much uniting, compacting, and that gives them at least a 71% better flying range. So by working together, they're able to make a lot more progress, and that's why one of the reasons why Netur Geb behaved the way he does. Uniting and compacting matter coming together, the solid earth.
Similar to people who are part of a team, the geese reach their goal quicker and easier because they travel on the trust of one another and lift each other up along the way. When a goose falls out of formation, it feels the drag and resistance of trying to go through it alone. As it quickly repositions itself into the V, it once again has the advantage of the power of the flock. If we benefit from the lessons of the geese, we will stay in formation with those who are headed in the same way that we are going. And if for a time we fall out of the team, we'll return to the safety and power of the V. When the lead goose gets tired, he rotates back into the V and another goose takes over. It pays to share leadership and take turns doing hard jobs. The geese honk from behind to encourage those up front to keep their speed. words of support, and inspiration help energize those on the front line, helping them to keep pace in spite of the day-to-day pressures and fatigue. It is important that our honking be encouraging. Otherwise, it's just, well, honking. Finally, when a goose gets sick or wounded and falls out, 2 geese fall out of the formation and follow the injured one down to help and protect him. They stay with him until he is either able to fly or passes on. Then they launch out with another formation to catch up with their group. And just as the geese do, we will stand by each other when things get rough. We will stay in formation with those headed where we want to go. The next time you see a formation of geese, remember their message. The geese depend on teamwork for their life's journey. And as people, one of the most rewarding and fulfilling experiences in life is to be a contributing member of a team.
You will do amazing things.
That's why our Kemetic ancestors chose the goose as Netter Geb animal, because it shows the benefits of constantly compacting, why Netter Geb choose to do what he do, and why the earth, solid matter, constantly compacts and stays together in a group and stays together in a formation. Mira Henil Dua Netter Geb.